Welcome to the first video of this section, React Native Components Deep Dive. Today, we're going to have an in-depth look at the React Native Component API. In this video, we're going to start with reviewing the RN Tester project created by the React Native team. The aim of this video is to showcase React Native's built-in components and APIs. Also, we're going to utilize the sample project as a reference for learning. The objectives of this video are to install and configure the RN Tester project locally. We'll then review a couple components in the APIs, and then we'll review the example code in the RN Tester project. RN Tester is a sample app that the React Native team maintains. The goal of this app is to showcase the React Native API and provide sample code for developers. This is a great source if you're a visual learner and like to see some of these components in action. While on this page, grab the git clone URL so you can clone this locally. We will be running RN Tester on the iOS simulator. So if you want to follow along, let's navigate to terminal. Navigate to the directory you would like to store this project, and then input the git clone URL for React Native's repository. Now we're going to change directories into React Native's repo, and we'll do an npm install just to be safe. Once that installation is complete, in terminal, type open dot, and then Finder, you will navigate to the Xcode project and select the Run button in the left corner, and this will launch an iOS simulator with the RN Tester project active. If you would like to run on an Android device, you will need to have an Android emulator running. You can navigate to React Native's GitHub for further instruction. Now that we have that installed and we're running it in our simulator, we can examine some of these components in action. Let's start with the activity indicator component. This is a pretty straightforward component, but this project shows you how you can utilize each prop type to customize the component to fit your app's needs. From the top, we have the white default example and the custom colors and sizes below. Let's go back and look at another common component you may have used in other apps that serves a lot of purpose. This specific component is the Date Picker iOS. So let's go to this page and you will see all the different options of how this can be utilized. Based on props, you can configure the different options for display. For example, you can do a date and time, date only, and then time only. This specific component is iOS specific. There is an equivalent to Android, but for now, we're just going to cover this one. The final component I want to show is the image component. The image component has a lot of props that can be manipulated to help make images work for your app. One specific prop I would like to point out is the resize mode. You can see examples down below. I love this RN Tester project because it's a simple showcase for built-in components that you can see in action. It will enable developers to see what works best for their app, and for beginners, it's a nice starting point. The most significant benefit of this project is that everything that we are seeing in the simulator, we are also able to review that code. So inside the project where we open the Xcode project, we will see a JS folder. Let's open that in whatever text editor you are using. This will give us a chance to review some of the code we just saw in the simulator. I'm going to open activity indicator example.js, date picker iOS example.js, and the image example.js. Let's start with the activity indicator example. We can see in the imports that activity indicator is being utilized. If we scroll down to one of these render methods, we can see the configuration for a large indicator. Now in the date picker iOS example, we can see the code that generates the picker for the date and time options. This is set by the prop mode. The final source code we're going to review is the image example. I mentioned earlier the significance of resize mode, so let's scroll down to that code. You can see the prop resize mode is set to a different string for each display. In the sidebar of the project, there is a lot more examples you can utilize for when you start your own development. Now that we have a solid reference for our development, we are ready to move on.